And now they're not building owner is gonna, it's different owner and everything. So we, that since they weren't I just emailed you that. Okay, great. Yep, I emailed you that and
He was way there.
anyway, one of them was, yeah, and I have like, ways, so where I think it's.
And this is for you.
Yeah.
I have a theory about that. What year is that? What year is that?
Test. October 5th. From 1 day to 3 days.
I know. Ray.
Hello. Welcome to the City Council regularly scheduled meeting of June 10, 2024. The time's 5:30 p.m. We are at 10 West State Street in the City Council chambers. I call the meeting to order. Would those who are able join us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. Welcome. Roll call, please.
Kell?
Here.
Ladioff?
Here.
Mitchell?
Here.
Nichols?
Here.
Schneider?
Here.
Thompson?
Here. Very good. It's time for public comment, and I have to read this proviso each time. Members of the public may make comments on any item that was not on the agenda at this time. Approach the mic, state your name and address for the record, and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less unless I authorize more. Direct your comments to the mayor and council as a whole, and the mayor and councilors shall not engage in discussion or debate on these items raised by members of the public, and no action be taken on those items, otherwise we might fall afoul of the open meetings laws. It is time for mayor, council, and administrator comments. I'm sorry. Yeah, I do that every time, don't I? I've only got a year and a half left of this. Maybe I can figure that out by the time we're done. The microphone is open. Maybe anticipated nobody would be. Aha. Jim. No. I did start the clock already, I'll admit, but I'll give you 14
That's all right, it's
seconds.
short tonight anyway.
Okay.
Hello, Jim Shaw, 522 North 2nd Street. I repeat, 522 North 2nd Street. The reason for repeating my address, the past 2 weeks, the Marshtown Police Facebook page has listed crimes for the week, along with a map pinpointing the area of the crimes. There have been a couple in the south side of town, but very few. But the north side of the town has so many pinpoints on the map, it's hard to distinguish the addresses. But they're definitely in the north side of the first ward, and they look like they're really close to 522 North 2nd Street, which is where I live. I think we need, and I'm asking for an increased police presence in the first ward. Moving on, dog attacks. It's getting increasingly difficult to give these comments about dog attacks. The difficulty comes from the increasing amount of the attacks and trying to pick the most relevant that will get your attention. There is a Facebook page called the Pit Bull Problem. Every day there are 8 to 10 new pit bull attacks on this page. There's another thing that's making this a little hard, and I don't know why this has started happening, but some of the attack posts are now including videos. Very hard to watch videos. Videos of multiple pit bulls attacking, mauling, and killing other dogs and horses, and sometimes severely injuring or killing people. I'm a pretty tough-minded guy, and blood doesn't bother me, but I haven't been able to watch even one video completely all the way through. Before I hand out my comments, I give you a copy of the USA Today newspaper. This past Friday had a front page headline, "Fatal Dog Attacks Spark Debates." With the majority of the article continuing on page 4, it takes up almost a full page of the national newspaper. The article talks about unprovoked attacks and how one attack resulted in the death of a 3-month-old baby. I've given you all copies of this article, which the library told me is legal for me to do as long as I don't profit from it. In fact, it cost me $20 for those copies, so I think I'm good. Please take the time to read it and think about everything you read. As this article states, this is becoming a national problem. I asked at the last meeting, and I'll bring it up again. Have any of you visited the Animal Rescue League yet, as I requested a month ago? As the USA Today article suggests, some shelters do not have the capacity to work with dogs that come in, and they end up putting dogs up for adoption that should not be. We have quite a few pit bulls at our rescue league that I do not want released in Marshalltown. Instead of, yep, Jim Shaw again, think about what I've said along with the national newspaper. We're only one dog attack away from becoming one of these unwanted statistics. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Mic is still open.
Good evening, Lee Botter, 401 Orchard Drive. Last Thursday, I had the opportunity, while a lot of you guys were at the, I think it was a chamber event, I had to go, didn't have to go, I wanted to go down to the community band on 13th Street. I have a couple posters here. One of the things I'd like to promote is getting posters in everybody's windows, downtown, all around the community. They're going to be presenting their music from June 6th through July 25th at 7 p.m. Come on down, we had a lot of fun, good food, good drinks, that kind of thing. And I know that we've got some counselors that are working on some fundraising for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. I'll try not to talk too loud because I know my voice can carry. My name is Austin Gillis, and I'm the new Executive Director of the Animal Rescue League in Marshalltown. Today, more Iowans care more about, today Iowans care more about animals than ever before. They don't simply care about their own pets and livestock, they care about overall health and welfare of animals in Iowa. Iowa's lawmakers on the local and state level have taken notice and have advanced a number of changes of the last few years. Recent updates, include in 2020, the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship revised and adopted new guidelines to all state licensed animal businesses and organizations, including shelters, boarding kennels, pet stores, etc. These new guidelines improve the minimum standards that are required for these entities to ensure the humane treatment of animals. In 2020, the Iowa legislature passed a new set of animal cruelty laws for companion animals. This law, Iowa Code 717B, updated the definitions and penalties for animal neglect, animal abuse, animal torture, and animal abandonment. In 2020, the Iowa Department of Inspections and Appeals modified their licensing requirements for bars and restaurants, making it easier for these businesses to welcome well-behaved dogs into their patios if they want to. This change shows how important animals are to the residents of Iowa, and in the end is simply smart business. In 2024, the Iowa legislature updated its state's bestiality laws. The changes to this code will be put into effect July 1st and will make it easier for law enforcement and prosecutors to pursue those who not only sexually abuse animals, but also those who advertise, film, or include minors in these activities. Since 2018, the number of Iowa communities which restrict dogs based on breed or appearance have dropped dramatically. In 2018, approximately 15% of Iowa communities banned certain types of dogs. Today, that number is less than 9%. And in 2023, the Iowa House passed legislation that would have outlawed all breed bans. The bill ultimately did not receive a vote in the Senate, but the issue is expected to be brought up again. Communities large and small have adopted local ordinances to address outdoor cats with trap-neuter return programs. They have also adopted strong dangerous animal ordinances that carefully balance public safety and personal property rights. In the coming weeks and months, I hope to work with members of this council as well as experts from around the state to propose an update set of animal ordinances for Marshalltown. Along with our low-cost clinic, our pet food pantry, and various other volunteer opportunities, the Mental Health Mondays and soon classes for pet families on the fundamentals of owning a new pet, educational classes for school-age children on how to approach animals or how to avoid animals when confronted in public. Our community is no different than the rest of the state. Our people love these animals and they want to see them treated well. I look forward to working with all of you, including members of the community, to make sure that we get it right. I believe that together we can make Marshalltown a better, safer, and more humane place to live for all of us, including the animals that we call family. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Austin, and welcome to Marshalltown. We'll keep our dialogue going.
Thank you.
Deb Millizer, Director of the Marshalltown Central Business District, 34 West Main. I have two things I want to share with you tonight. One, I'm not sure if you've noticed yet, but we have been working really hard on the Cartwright Pavilion. We added a metal archway, some cables, some flower boxes, some lights. They lit it up last night. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. I myself went out there and painted. I probably still have black paint on my body. I was up my arms. I thought I was working on a new sleeve of tattoos or something when I was done. So lots of volunteers have put in their time to do that. Lots of materials were donated to do that. And I think we're now to the step where we're going to start booking the food trucks. The other thing I wanted to share with you is I have several children. A lot of you know that. I have one child that lives up by LaPorte City, and she is a cosmetologist. And the other day, she called me. She kept blowing up my phone. And finally, I had a moment to call her back. And she said, Mom, I gotta tell you about this experience that I had today. And I said, okay. And she said, I got a new client in my chair today. I said, oh, okay. And she's like, she told me that the weekend before she had went to Marshalltown. Marshalltown had been the halfway point to meet this lady's daughter from Des Moines. They were meeting in Marshalltown to eat. This new client that is in my daughter's chair starts telling my daughter about how awesome Marshalltown is starting to look, how it's really cleaning up, and how it just felt really good to be in Marshalltown. And she specifically mentioned Main Street, so you can understand why I'd be so proud of that. And my daughter said, oh, by the way, my mom is the director of Main Street. So that was kind of a neat little coinkydink, and I just wanted to pass on that knowledge, that good moment, because this lady had no idea that my daughter was connected to Marshalltown. And there she was saying positive things. So many times we hear the negative and we don't hear the positive, but here was this lady, she had no reason to tell my daughter this other than she was making conversation and talking about she met in the middle in Marshalltown, and she had a great experience, and she liked the way Marshalltown was presenting itself. So I just wanted to share that tonight.
Thank you, Deb. Anyone else? Okay, on to our next item. I'm sorry.
Ray Mitchum, 1402 South 3rd Avenue. Some of you know that I was born and raised in Marshalltown. I've lived in the Marshalltown community my entire life. And I've always been an avid listener of KFJB. And some of you know that KFJB has had a lot of reason to be popular in Marshalltown. Even before it was the first Iowa high school, I guess it was the first high school football game broadcast in the United States, west of the Mississippi, something like that. Anyway, KFJB has been. I've talked to a lot of people who listen to KFJB all the time. Well, this morning, a couple of you councilmen were interviewed by Zach, and I appreciate not only the explanation that some of us have wondered about why change the fireworks to the 6th Street. Well, you two guys that were being interviewed this morning, I thought did a very good job in explaining how some of us wondered where is everybody going to park? And here, some of you that might have listened to this, I thought that was a very, wise way to consider talking to all the businesses around about parking available that was within a mile where it can be visible. And I think it's an exciting way to consider those of us who have always been here and have always seen the fireworks. I remember seeing them out on East Main Street when the Central Iowa Fairgrounds was out there on East Main with the large track out there. So a lot of good memories, but I do think the ideas this year with all of the promotion of other things besides fireworks, I think I just wanted to say that KFJB and organizations like that I think that do a good job in promoting Marshalltown and Marshall County are very welcome. Thanks.
Thank you, Ray. I'll be a little slower to close the mic this time. Anyone else? Okay. On to, now I get to go to the Mayor, Council, and Administrator comments, starting with the Employee of the Year award, and then I'll go back to the comments. Chief?
Good evening, Mike Tupper, Marshalltown Police Department. Usually you hear from me about our Employee of the Year during Police Week, which is always in the middle of May. It's the week that always includes May 15th because May 15th is Peace Officer Memorial Day. But our honoree had a baby. And so he's been kind of busy. So he couldn't make it to the meeting in May, so he's here tonight with his wonderful wife and their newest addition to their family. So,
Wow.
yeah, so that's the most exciting thing. But so,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
most of
come
us
on.
know who's been really busy here.
yeah, they've been really busy, and I'm guessing they're not sleeping much either. So you maybe I've told you this, but my oldest is about to turn 28, and I've been tired ever since. So it doesn't get any better. But I'm Sergeant Wyatt Shalangowski is here tonight to be honored as our Employee of the Year, and Wyatt has served with us for only 8 years. And I say only 8 years because that he performs like he's been here 28 years. Wyatt is among the most talented police officers I have ever known, ever had the honor to work with. He works hard. He knows his job frontwards and backwards, and he's somebody that we rely on a great deal. He was recently promoted to sergeant, and but even before Wyatt was a sergeant with the police department, he was a leader within the police department, and he's somebody that we all look up to, myself included. We are so lucky. We have great people working in the police department, both as police officers and civilian employees, and we're so lucky to have people like Wyatt serving and protecting our community every day. He comes to work every day wanting to make a difference in this community. And I've said this about a few people. The list is getting longer. But if my children were in trouble, if they needed help, I would want Wyatt to be there. He is one of those people that I just think so much of. And in the time that Wyatt has served our police department, he's on our SWAT team. He's been a field training officer. He's a firearms instructor. And now he's a sergeant, and I'm sure that the laundry list of things that he's done for us is very long, and I couldn't list them all here tonight. What I have found remarkable about Wyatt is even as a young police officer, he had the knack for being able to teach people how to do this job, and it's not an easy thing to do. It's very difficult to teach people how to be a police officer or teach people different skills. Wyatt is one of the best firearms instructors I've ever seen, and the only bad thing about promoting him to sergeant is we lost him as a field training officer. And he was doing a great job. He's had a responsibility of training several of our newest officers, who are all performing very well and doing a great job thanks to the great training they received from Wyatt and the other FTOs in our department. Wyatt has, this is unusual for a police officer, I think, remarkable patience, and I think that's why he's such a good teacher. He doesn't try to make people do it his way. He gives them advice, he gives them input, he shows them how to do the job, and then he allows them to grow into the job. And not many police officers, I sure don't have it. People that work with me would tell you that I am not a patient person. Most people that I know in this profession, that's a weakness of ours, but Wyatt is remarkably patient. And when Wyatt is on duty, I sleep better. Because I know that even before he was a sergeant, that he was doing his best for the community. And he was taking care of our community. So, without further ado, I don't want to break this. I almost forgot. I want to thank the Times Republican for being the sponsor of this annual award. We appreciate the partnership. Robert wrote a really nice article about Wyatt back in May, and I think I sent it to all of you. But thank you, Robert, for sponsoring this award. So,
And how is it chosen, too?
oh, that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up, Mayor. This is a peer-chosen award. It's not the police chief or the captain sitting in an office somewhere deciding who's going to be the honoree this year. Wyatt was nominated by his peers. And so we take in nominations at the beginning of the year. we have a committee that reviews the nominations, and then the committee makes a recommendation to the police chief, and Wyatt was the recommendation this year. And the only mistake that the committee made is they didn't do this 5 years ago. Okay, he could probably win this award every year. But we have great people working in the police department, and it is our honor to award Wyatt with this year's Employee of the Year designation. Congratulations.
I just want to say thank you to the council, the police department, and the public all together. I appreciate the opportunity for the opportunity to support you guys have provided for both me and my family. I can honestly sit here and say that I'm proud to be called a police officer here in this department and to work and serve the city. So thank you.
We're all curious. Who's Exhibit A here? And her mother.
This is my wife, Stephanie, and our daughter, Adeline.
Adeline, okay.
Adeline Lou.
What a cutie.
Thank you.
Wow. Congratulations. Okay. Do any of the counselors have any comments they'd like to make tonight?
Your Honor, if I may.
You may.
I want to follow up on something Deb Millizer said. From my bedroom window, I can see the farmer's market canopy. And last night, they left the lights on all night. So when I woke up in the middle of the night, I thought they were coming for me, finally, because these are lights that are changing colors. And so in my stupor, I went to the door thinking I was ready, so, yeah. But lo and behold, it was just the farmer's market. It did look nice. So, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You bet. Anyone else?
Your Honor, I'd just like to give an update, Trails Inc. update. So we did meet our minimum fundraising threshold last week, which was phenomenal, so we can apply for the grant. So I'd like to thank this council, the County Board of Supervisors, and the citizens of Marshall County and Iowa and everywhere else who donated. We're going to apply for the grant next Monday, and we're going to do everything we can to win it. So this will be a huge deal for this area. So thanks, everybody, for your support.
Thank you, Jeff. Anyone else? Okay. Cindy, do you have anything acting in my stead? Okay. I guess as the mayor, I have to say, last week was a good one. It just was a good week. It was the annual Chamber of Commerce meeting, well attended. I think there were upwards of 240 people there, good speaker, good vibe, all sorts of exciting things going on. We had the announcements of the grants and that kind of thing. The county coming through like we haven't seen for a while, and that was just gratifying. This morning there was a meeting out at the Veterans Home with our Iowa home base committee. We're going to make this the Veterans Capital of the state of Iowa. And that meeting was well attended with people that really care, and we've got a good thing going here for the veterans too. So it's just been a good week. So thank you. All right, let's go on to the consent agenda. Anybody want to move to approve it?
Move to approve, Your Honor.
Second.
Roll call.
Bodyhoff,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Kell,
Very good. And we don't have to read those. It just saved 20 minutes, but we have a bet tonight. Again, how long we'll go. On to motions. The first one is what?
Motion to approve an application for a city license for garbage and refuse, recyclable and yard waste hauler for L. Hoagland Auto Plaza LLC.
Move for approval.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, Your Honor. Lonnie Hoagland is starting a dumpster service as part of his business, and it would primarily be for one-time junk removal service, which doesn't require a city license. However, in anticipation that he may get customers who want a regular pickup, like at a rental property or a business, he has applied for a license so that he can help those customers.
Thank you. Discussion up here, or questions or comments by council? Seeing none, any public discussion? Well, let's call the roll.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Kell, Lottie Hoff,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Very good, that carried as well. Lonnie, thanks for coming tonight. I know you're here to answer any questions if there were any, there weren't. So that carried. On to item H, resolutions. So what's our first one of those?
We have a motion to untable Resolution 2024-120, providing for the conveyance and transfer of title for 510 East Main Street from the city of Marshalltown, Iowa to RMB Cooperative.
Is there a motion to take it off the table?
I'll move, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second? I know if there isn't a second, we just continue to table it, we're going to have to repost it and redo it. So I encourage a second, so we can at least have a discussion about it. Hearing no second, it is continuing to be off the table. Let me predict that item number 2, similar motion. Go ahead and read it, though.
Motion to untable Resolution 2024-121, providing for the conveyance and transfer of title of 406 Lee Street from the city of Marshalltown, Iowa to RMB Cooperative.
Floor is open for motion on this one.
I'll move to untable, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is there a second on this one? Another thing I might add is that the choices are we go to the second bidder or we rebid it. I mean, there are other things we have to do. Otherwise, we're just going to continue to own these properties. Hearing no second, I think I'm going to win tonight. Let's go on to the third one.
Motion to untable Resolution 2024-122, providing for the conveyance and transfer of title for 708 Lee Street from the city of Marshalltown, Iowa to RMB Cooperative.
Move to untable, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is there a second to this one? Crickets. Item 4.
Resolution 2024-126, approving a 5-year agreement with this Marshalltown Area Chamber of Commerce for tourism and promotional services.
We want to move on this one.
Move to approve, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is there a second this time? Thank you. Discussion.
I'd like to discuss this a little bit. I have some concerns about this agreement. First of all, on the revenue model, one of the things I've noticed that it has no consideration for inflation. So with just an average 5-year inflation, through that 5-year life, they're actually declining in volume, declining in revenue. So with that, that doesn't show a metric to me that shows we're growing. And so I don't see any reason to change the percentage for the chamber in that. There's some other major factors. One is that the only way to terminate over that 5-year period is gross mismanagement or fraud. We have no access to books, so we wouldn't even know what they're fraud, if there's fraud or mismanagement. But the biggest thing is there's no measure of are they effective. The measure should actually be more like, is revenue growing? Is conference stays increasing? All those things should be growing and not just a matter of as a metric for being able to terminate. Because if they're ineffective, we should not be going 5 years.
Thank you. Other council comments or questions? You may.
I'm uncomfortable with the increase in the percentages. I don't have a problem with the contract itself. I believe that if we are indeed attracting more tourists and everything to Marshalltown, that does increase both the city share and the chamber's share under the current agreement. So that's pretty much where I stand.
Thank you. Other councilors?
I'd say, Your Honor, I'm okay with the agreement in principle. I mean, Counselor Nichols, if we could index it to inflation, would that help some of your concerns? I think as stated, it doesn't show that, there is an upside for the city if they are knocking it out of the park. If they do exceed their threshold, I mean, Marshalltown is a beneficiary of that as well. So, I kind of like the way it's written. Also, I don't know how we could do this job any more effectively than the chamber. And I think, you need a 5-year kind of control plan to even measure what kind of success is happening. So I don't think it's unrealistic.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Can I comment?
Your Honor.
Your Honor?
Yes, sir. You're next.
I believe in the SMART, the specific, measurable, attainable, realistic and in a time bound. I would like to see an agreement that we benchmark where we're at today, and I think Dylan touched on some of that stuff last meeting, but I think I need hard data, and then we need to see growth throughout the period to know that the program's working. And I think for myself, without that, I can't support this 5-year contract. It's the way it's written right now. So thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any other counselor comment?
Your Honor? I'm not opposed to a longer-term contract. The issue is it needs to have some metrics that show that it's growing and benefiting and that it's effective. And with this, I don't see that with the fact that basically there's no revenue growth in there. I mean, if it was some measure of inflation plus, 5% or something in that manner, it might be workable. But we need to see growth and effectiveness for this to be, in my mind, a workable. And so those metrics need to be something that's actually showing improvement and that we're growing.
Any other counselor that hasn't spoken yet? Let me open it to the public. Yes, go ahead.
I would echo my agreement with the need for a longer term duration for this contract, more than the year-to-year, what we've been doing, or even the 2-year. I think we all understand, and Dylan touched on it last meeting, that these events don't happen overnight, and they don't happen without proper planning and a time horizon appropriate to bring those to fruition. So I'm in support of a longer agreement. I also echo some of the comments, the concern that the motivation within this contract should be to grow the pie. And as the pie grows, both the chamber and both the city grow. So I can see both sides of it. I think we need to realize and understand that as a city, we are not prepared to do this effectively today. So with this agreement, looks like ultimately, I think there's some room for negotiation. But there's a lot of good work being done by the chamber. We saw that come through clearly last week. We know there's more events coming. So I just want us to remain focused on the good things the chamber is bringing to the table and the great opportunities that are here. We need to ensure as a city that we continue to support that, but we also do it in a manner that makes sense for both parties. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kell. Anybody else? Okay, let's open it to the public.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. John Hall, Marshalltown Area Chamber of Commerce. Absolutely, I think I've heard your concerns very clearly on this. So the contract that we utilized was effectively the contract that had been in place for a number of years, and I think we'd be more than happy to dive into metrics and figure out how do we measure this and measure what success looks like. Prior to just a couple of years ago, we didn't really even have metrics to be able to turn to, and so we feel confident about being able to benchmark and being able to figure out what growth looks like. Two of the concerns that I heard specifically tonight were the term and length of the contract, as well as the growing percentage. And really there's a couple of factors in there, but the main one comes down to the physical infrastructure needs that we have in order to continue to host really high quality events. Take, for instance, the state high school esports tournament that we were successful at winning. We were in process of asking that organization for a multi-year contract to be here. But at the same time, we know that Coralville is building a state-of-the-art esports arena, that the folks that are organizing that were here in town for the spring tournament to make sure that they're staking their claim and trying to grab that from us. And so we know that we're going to have to invest in some of those physical assets, and we know that even if we dedicated the entirety of hotel motel tax, we wouldn't be touching what it takes to do that. But we're trying to continue to have those tools and resources necessary to make those investments, whether they be small improvements to the Y and some of the folks that come up here for state swim. We're making some bids at some other athletic related opportunities, state esports. All of those require physical infrastructure needs that we would like to be able to be at the table on and helpful with. Similarly, the American Legion worked on rebuilding the bathroom on the golf course just a couple of years ago, and part of the consideration for that was the State 1A golf tournament, knowing that they needed bathroom facilities out there, and so we're always cognizant about what those needs are and how do we plan for multi-year commitments into those physical infrastructure needs, and so that's really the rationale on it. That being said, the way the contract had been proposed to you, effectively we were staying status quo for that first year. And so if there's desire and interest in having some further conversation about what metrics look like, how do we structure a contract that not only holds us to account, but also then gives us that foresight to be able to make the necessary investments to work on recruiting these really incredible opportunities for our community. My proposal might be that we look at just a 1-year extension of our existing contract, continuing at that 56%, and then we can work on what a new contract may look like, whether that be with a work group or some kind of discussion session or just back and forth with city staff. So I'd be happy to answer if there are any questions.
Well, let's see if there are any by the council. Questions or comments?
Your Honor, I think that's a good idea if we do a 1-year extension under the current contract, while we work out the differences in what we're going to look forward. I do think it's important that we do a multi-year contract. It's hard for them to plan with everything that's coming at them. And I also want people to understand that the Chamber does a terrific job for us. They really do. I can't imagine trying to do some of the things that are getting done without them. So it's not a knock, it's just how we perceive, how we do things, and how we move forward together to make Marshalltown the best town we can have.
Anyone else up here?
Your Honor?
Yep.
I agree that we need to actively and aggressively promote Marshalltown. We need to have those metrics in place. So, and I also know that we can't put it on the city staff. There's no, we don't even have staff to the one we do need. So I would support a 1 year, and in the whole process of that, before this point in time, we need to have a lot of discussions about what the measures are, so how we make sure we share any benefits and that type of thing.
Anyone else?
Your Honor, can I ask a clarifying question?
You may.
Were either Councilor Laddiehoff or Councilor Nichols a motion? Or was that just a statement?
So far, just a comment.
Okay. I would put forth a motion to continue the current agreement, extend it for 1 year.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
Your Honor, don't we already have a motion on the table, though? I mean, so we have a point of order here, don't we?
I took that as a motion to amend. Maybe I needed to clarify the clarification. Mr. Kellogg?
Yes, that's correct.
You're making that as a motion to amend?
Yes, motion to amend.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Any other comments up here before we call the roll? Roll call.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
No.
Kell?
Yes.
Laddiehoff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
No.
Nichols?
Yes.
Okay, that carried. On to the next item.
Was a motion to
Yeah,
amend.
we
Yeah,
need
well, I
to-
guess, all right. So now that it's been amended, let's call for the motion on the resolution as amended to a one-year contract at the same fixed percentage term. Roll call on this one. And a yes vote is to approve it as amended.
Isn't that what we just voted for?
I thought so,
This
but
would
with a
be,
point of order,
now this would be on the original motion of approving the 5-year agreement.
as amended. So we've had the vote that did amend that motion.
Okay.
Now we're voting on the motion.
Lottie Hoff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
No.
Kell?
Yes.
It did carry as amended. On to the next one.
Resolution 2024-127, approving the amended contract with Snyder and Associates for the design of Lynn Creek Trailhead and Bridge.
Let's ask for a motion first.
Move to approve.
Second.
Now discussion.
Jeff Hubbard, Park and Rec Director. Before we extend the contract, we wanted to share with you some updates that we have on all the Lynn Creek District projects, being number one, the trailhead. Not everyone's seen the concepts that we've come up with our steering committee and Snyder Associates. So we're going to do that now before we do the contract. So right now, this is taking basically the skate park area, softball complex parking lot, and creating a trailhead that would connect to the Lynn Creek District Trail, hopefully soon the Iowa River's Edge Trail, but also the 6th Street Trail going south to get to Wayward Social and the Freedom Rocket, the American Legion. So we are keeping the existing skate park as is. We are adding in, we're taking up some of the parking, but actually this is going to be a good thing, because right now that corner section of that parking lot has a weird triangular piece and 2 flows of traffic that to me doesn't make sense on how to get in and out of, and it's kind of a mess. So by taking out this little corner piece here for the trailhead shelter and some of the area around the bathroom area allows for greater flow through the parking lot, and we don't actually lose that many spots in doing so. We would have a restroom facility, a couple shelters, an overlook that would overlook at the creek, and then would also look out at the new bridge. And I'll get into some drawings of the bridge there. So the other thing we've changed is the flow of the trail used to go up along 6th Street. We're actually taking it into the trailhead. We want this to be a destination where people will get off their bikes, check it out, stop, fill up their water bottles, go to the bathroom, and not just pass it by. We really want them to stop in here and check it out. And because it's kind of a crossways of 3 different bridges, it kind of makes sense that they stop there and figure out which way they're going to go. So here are just some of the elements that we're looking at for building materials, the wood, the stone, the steel. All these were also similar elements to what RDG did with the overall trailhead master plan that we did about 5 years ago for the whole Iowa River's Edge Trail. Very similar elements that were in that one. So here are some 3D renderings of what that would look like. This is coming from the parking lot, from the softball complex. You can see the bathroom on the left, our monument sign, which is that'll be the signage that will be consistent throughout here all the way up to Steamboat Rock. Our larger shelter to the right, we'll have room for about 40 people of a gathering space for maybe people who are doing bike rides, heading out for a weekend, and then the bridge that goes across 6th Street. More looking at the skate park and the bathroom area. That circles around to the softball complex, even though there are buildings in the backdrop there. There'll actually be the softball complex from that angle. They didn't have time to kind of render everything out of there. Looking back at the bridge and the lookout point, and then the lookout point looking out at the creek and the bridge. So with that, I want to get into some of the bridge. So when we met with the bridge, our steering committee liked the overall bridge, but we really wanted to tie in all of Lynn Creek together with one look. We didn't want to have one project looking modern art deco and one project looking like this. So we wanted some consistency. And Steiner Associates came to us with a couple different designs for what the trail, what the bridge could look like, with landing before and after it, and we weren't really enthused with any of their original designs. So we challenged them to come back and look at some other ideas. Well, they recommended meeting with Hildy DeBrune, who was the consultant for the Waterhead and Trail Bridge project, and so she met with them on May 7th. One of the things you'll remember from the Water Plaza theme was kind of that stone and skipping water. They talked about this project and how there's more of a flow with the stream going underneath the bridge, still the water concept, but more of a flow than the skipping stones. So they kind of used that, and then as well as the lighting and color schematics from the Water Plaza, and have carried it over into this project. So what you'll see is we like to use the railings as our artistic focal point on the bridge that would allow light to be shown through it, either through the sun or having LED lighting on the bridge itself. So it would go all the way across. Because the bridge has two overlooks on it, east and west, we do need some additional supports on our bridge, and that lends itself to some more ways to put some elements on there that would attract attention. So some cool pictures here would be the sun shining through about mid-morning. You would see the light reflecting from the different acrylic panels, and then here's what it would be like at noon when you're crossing it. And then in the evening, we would have some light LED lighting on there to light it up as well. We probably won't use the LED lighting to light up the acrylic, because if we use blue lighting and shoot it on all these different colors, they're not going to be the original colors they're supposed to be. So the lighting may just be up and down lighting on the bridge itself, not using the acrylic panels there to focus on that. So here's the bridge spanning the whole Lynn Creek and the trailhead design there. And then this is an updated rendering of the centerpiece for the Water Plaza. So you can see how it's kind of, it used to be kind of a huge stainless steel structure. This is getting more lighter and more colorful in the designs, and can kind of see how it flows into what we're thinking about for the trailhead and bridge. And I think I sent this out in an update in our thing, but Bolton and Mink did submit our pre-built, unbuilt design of the Water Plaza to the American Society of Landscape Architects, and they won first place, won an award. So we have that we have in our office. So we think we're heading in the right direction on that. They have 30% plans done for the Water Plaza that we've sent off to the Iowa Department of Public Health to look at. They have to review any swimming pool related type things, and they'll view this as a swimming pool because we have the standard body of water. So before we get into next thing we want to talk about is some fundraising updates. Does anybody have any questions about any of things we've shown here?
So really not so much about the new bridge, but what was the edict or verdict on the existing bridge, and was it salvageable that we could use it instead or not? Give a little update on where that bridge stood.
That bridge wasn't really salvageable. We were going to probably spend about $300,000 more to retrofit it to meet the needs of what a precast. So the bridge we selected will not have a railing on it, which will save some cost in it. So it'll just be the steel bridge, but then we will use the railing thing. So we'll probably spend, we'll be back in a little bit more, but it was going to be about $300,000 to retrofit the bridge to do. And I don't know if I forgot to mention our plans, but we've actually moved the bridge over beside the existing bridge for a couple reasons. It allows for better flow heading north and south. The contractor can also use that bridge for staging to put in the existing bridge. And then when they demo the existing bridge, that will help channelize and kind of help get them to do part of their project. So it was kind of felt that it wasn't a cost-effective way to do it, and it made more sense in the whole process to demo it and use it for other things along the creek bed.
Other questions or comments by the council? Any public comment on this one?
Can we talk about then, we want to give a fundraising update of where we are for all the Lynn Creek District projects, and Amber and John have been out talking to a lot of members of the community to make some things happen. The next two items would be, that we'll be talking about for the fundraising to name the water plaza and the bridge, but I'll let them give you an update on all the projects. Maybe.
Good evening, Amber Danielson, Executive Director of the Arts and Culture Alliance, and I've got John Hall with me here. You already heard from him, but Marshtown Area Chamber of Commerce. Again, tonight we just want to give you a brief update on where we're at with fundraising. First of all, I wanted to say that, both the Chamber and the Alliance have been partners on these projects from the very beginning, including lots of other key stakeholders and partners, including the Y, and also including several of the business owners and property owners in the district. We were proud and honored to spearhead the fundraising on behalf of the city in partnership with primarily Jeff and Heather too. And so this has been a fun process for us to kick off and very rewarding, I guess, as a little teaser of what we're going to give you an update on. What we did want to do, though, is just give you a little bit of background and update on how we got here today. I think many of you are remember the community vision plan that is called Imagine, that dated back to 2007, where thousands of ideas from the community were submitted as ideas to really focus on for the community. It was narrowed down to 7 big ideas, and the Lynn Creek District was one of those 7 ideas. And while I often comment that 2007 feels like a very long time ago, I think we can really celebrate the process that group, which was primarily very grassroots. There was not one organization that led that effort. It was community members coming together, thinking about how we can make Marshalltown a great place. And so that really speaks volume to all these years later, those ideas still being relevant. Many of them have been accomplished or in progress, but developing the Lynn Creek Riverwalk was one of them. So a nod to both Mike Miller and Carol Hibbs, who spearheaded, this is a little snippet of the rendering from back in 2008, which wrapped up in 2008, and as we know, was not a good year to be starting some major infrastructure projects. So while we've seen quite a bit of public investment in this district, specifically even over the last 5 years, from a public perspective, we really feel like we are catalyzing this district and kind of imagining this district and really pointing back to plans that have been in place for quite some time. In addition, I know you're familiar with the City of Marshalltown's Arts and Culture Master Plan. We really feel like these projects align with that plan on making Marshalltown unique and distinct and authentically reflecting our community.
And I believe you all are all familiar with the Destination Iowa award that we received back in 2023, early 2023. That was a $2 million grant as a pilot community for the state of Iowa. They have since funded that program through the legislature and have continued it. So the state continues to invest and reinvest into this opportunity around creative placemaking and what it can really mean to transform communities and to be that necessary resource when it comes to workforce recruitment and development. And so the 4 projects that were awarded, this was a co-application between the Fisher Governor Foundation and the City of Marshalltown. And the Fisher Governor Foundation had the Martha Ellen Ty Playhouse component, and then the 3 city projects were the hopefully soon, Apgar Family Water Plaza, the Ansi Kaiser Trailhead, and the Emerson Bridge. And so to just give a lay of the land here, you can see the map up here, Lynn Creek District. So on the far right-hand side, you can see the Marshalltown Arts and Civic Center, home to the Fisher Art Collection, the Martha Ellen Ty Playhouse, which is an asset that I think you are all familiar with, but trying to get that back to fully performance ready. The Apgar Family Water Plaza, sitting between the Aquatic Center and Mega 10 Park. The Ansi Kaiser Trailhead, again, sitting where the existing skate park is, making sure that we're incorporating the existing skate park and continuing it where it is at, and then the Emerson Bridge there. You want me? Okay. So to give a fundraising update on where we're at. So the project total, these are numbers updated as of just about an hour or so ago. The total project is $7.3 million. Destination Iowa accounts for $2 million of that. The city has $1.96. Now a portion of that was from the Ann C. Kaiser Trust that the city received for trails a number of years ago, and then the Fisher Governor Foundation had brought to the table $903,000 in private fundraising that they had already completed as kind of overflow from their phase one of the MAC redevelopment. So prior to February 1st, the project was sitting at about $4.8 million of the 7.3. Our fundraising goal was $2.5 million, and to date, we have secured $2.3 million, leaving a fundraising gap of $200,000, and we have asks out for $285,000 to date. As with any good fundraising project, we have stretch goals, so if we overperform, which we hope to do, we've got some goals that we seek to achieve, but our first and foremost priority is ensuring that we meet compliance with the Destination Iowa funds, draw down those $2 million into our community, and see these 4 projects to completion. Are there any questions on the fundraising?
Are you confident on the pending?
I mean, within a reasonable level of confidence. It's hard to always know. What I would say is all the meetings that we've had have been highly positive. I would say within that 285, we've got 100,000 we should know on tomorrow, 80,000 in additional grants pending, 100,000 on a business ask that we feel. We came into the meeting and said 50,000. They said, hey, how about 100,000? And so we feel like we're making really great progress on it. And we haven't yet done the. We haven't yet gotten to that public part of the campaign too. So, you always intend to leave a portion at the end to make sure that we can bring as many folks into this project as possible. And again, that's where we've got some of those stretch goals that we think we'll be able to make some really meaningful impact with some of these pieces. So for instance, the trail distance between the Water Plaza and the trailhead goes underneath that viaduct. We could use some improved lighting and security around there. And so there's some of these elements that we'll be able to fundraise for as we close this gap and then work towards that next goal.
Your Honor, if I may. So, John, your answer to Councilman Lottie-Hoff was yes. You feel confident?
Yeah.
Can I ask how?
I don't think you can ever be 100% confident, but I mean, we are absolutely targeting, connecting with those who are very invested in Marshalltown, very invested in the growth of our community, and see the value in investing in these types of projects. So relatively speaking, fundraising so far, which, our $2.5 million kicked off February 1st. So we're talking about raising $2.3 million in the course of months. I think that showcases pretty strongly the desire for the community to be investing in these types of projects. So as confident as we can possibly be.
She said it better.
We make a good team.
Good job, you guys. 2.3 million in how many months? 4? 3. Good job. It sounds like people really believe in the projects.
If you haven't been in to visit with these two, they're pretty good at double teaming, I can tell you personally, and for a good cause, Shirley.
John and I have spent a lot of time together in the last 4 months, so we've gotten pretty good at working together. So thanks, Mayor Greer.
Any other questions or comments by the public?
I have
Jeff, did you
Your
want- Oh, go ahead.
Well, I think you guys just proved that you can fundraise, so hopefully people in town will jump on the bandwagon and do fundraising for other stuff.
I was just going to add that after seeing what Trails Inc. has done in that short amount of time frame too, I think we are hoping to be at 90% by August when this project hopefully goes out to bid, and we're past that. So I think they've done a great job, and I think that small gap is attainable by August.
And the fundraising is never done. You need to have maintenance, you need to have something banked, And so if you meet the goal, you don't stop there. You just need to be able
Yep.
to keep doing it because you'll have something pretty nice to protect and preserve.
So, but after you've seen all that, basically what I'm asking you guys to do is approve to amend the contract with Steiner Associates for $190,000 for them to actually come up with the design plans that will go out for bid. You'll get to see probably 30% plans, then be reviewed, and then it'll go out to bid in August along with the Water Plaza, and have construction starting in 2025. So these are all kind of tied in and all within the funding goals and where we are with money. So I feel confident that we can move forward with this.
Your Honor, I have a written comment that was submitted.
Okay.
The project document, or this is submitted by Lee Botter, 401 Orchard Drive. The project documents being presented from Snyder and Associates for approval include the following. The former roadway bridge will be removed and replaced with a new pedestrian bridge. The area around the existing skate park will be modified to function as a central trailhead to serve all residents and visitors to the Lynn Creek District, the Lynn Creek Trail, and as the southern terminus of the Iowa River's Edge Trail. Final bridge structural design and specifications. Professional will design and prepare construction documents for the bridge over Lynn Creek. Work will include preparation of a demolition plan for the former 6th Street Bridge, type, size, location drawings of a new bridge, and detailed construction plans. Work includes coordination with a fabricator of the pre-engineered truss span and overlooks. It is intended that the span will be a sole source since the aspects of the design will be custom for this installation, including the attachment of enhanced railing, overhead panels, lighting, and other aesthetic features determined as the design develops. The final cost opinion for the bridge will be prepared. I have been attending council meetings for several years where discussion on the Lynn Creek Development Project has occurred, including the fate of the bridge. The most recent discussion this year regarding the bridge was to have staff look into the cost to potentially repurpose rather than demolish the bridge. I've gone through my notes and discussed this issue with others who frequently attend city council meetings, and I do not see a repurpose option being presented for consideration.
Thank you. Any other written comment?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I think it's still time then for public comment on this one.
Alan Kent, 612 North 4th Avenue. How much money is the city expected to put in on this Lynn Creek fundraiser thing? Because to me, it's crap. You've got 1,000 other problems in this town, but yet you guys are all worried about putting up something pretty. Why don't you take care of the problems we have in this town first? You've got yards ain't being mowed. You got junkyards at houses. You've got backyards that are covered with crap. And yet y'all are worried about this stupid stuff. I think you need to consider more spending your money on the city the way it is now and clean it up that way. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we have a motion pending with a second?
Yes.
Let's call the roll.
Mitchell? Mitchell?
No.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Kell?
Yes.
Lottie-Hoff?
Yes.
Very good, that carried. Mr. Kent, I did hear you comment before you got up to the mic. Don't do that again, please.
What comment?
You said no when somebody asked a question that was rhetorical, that comment. So
Well, I understand you don't like me or my partner, so I don't give a shit what you think about it.
and if you keep talking like that, sure, you're going to go out that door.
I am going out the door.
Thank you. Goodbye. All right, next item.
Resolution 2024-128, approving the naming of the Water Plaza in the Lynn Creek District.
Move for approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
The discussion on this one. Jeff?
Yeah, I can't get the other agenda up, so with all things that go with naming rights, it's your guys' duty to approve those. I think the last one we did was in 2022 for the Stegman Bridge. So this is coming for you, two projects. We have had two great community leaders, community members who have supported to both these projects. one of being Tom Apgar and the Apgar family for the Water Plaza, and the next one will be for Emerson for the Emerson Bridge. And I'm going to let Amber and John kind of talk about how they communicate with those two people on these two projects.
Thanks, Jeff. Again, Amber Danielson with the Arts and Culture Alliance. As John and I started the journey for fundraising, we were really thinking through being meaningful in the conversations we were having with community partners on what the future of this district is. And as we were thinking about, in particular, the Water Plaza and looking at the legacy of the Apgar family, in particular around their dedication to water and water safety, and their family dating all the way back to what we all know as the Apgar pool, which is the John Memorial Apgar pool, in honor of Tom's late brother. And, it really the stars couldn't have aligned more. I feel, and I think I can speak on John and I's behalf, we feel extremely honored that we have been able to connect with Tom and be able to continue his family's legacy. I think so many of us have been connected to the Apgar family in some way, shape, or form throughout the years. I know I can speak for my senior pictures, proudly wearing the Apgar name as a volleyball player. You might be questioning, I was athletic at one time in my life. But so many people have stories to tell. In some of our research, there were some really awesome stories that people have told over the years through some of the history pages that are on Marshalltown's on Facebook. And we came across all kinds of things when people would share the postcards of the Apgar pool and things like, I met my lifetime partner there. It's where my parents met. I learned to swim there. I remember that pool and swam there all the time, had lessons there. I mean, just memory after memory after memory. And we see this as an opportunity to transition that legacy for what we knew as the Apgar pool to the Apgar Family Water Plaza. And with all of the legacies that exist already in the Lynn Creek District, we couldn't be more proud to fit this one in there in a really, really impactful way. So with that, I'm going to invite Mr. Apgar up here to say a few comments.
I guess I have to face this way, right? I can't take the mic and walk around or anything.
There should be a way to come up here and face out there, but.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you, John. These people are really special. I'm flattered that they approached me with the concept that she just described about honoring my deceased brother, who they named a memorial pool after from 1982 through about 2002, when the Aquatic Center was the new concept, and they had two pools, one north, one south. Let's centrally locate, and that's just perfectly fine. So, but the name John Apgar Memorial Pool just disappeared like that, and so did Crosby Pool until the Carter family kind of resurrected that name for the Crosby Park. And thank you for approaching me to resurrect the Apgar name associated with a quality recreational water facility that's all-encompassing. The selling point when they approached me was it's free of charge, admission-free, all-inclusive. The whole diverse community can enjoy it, and it builds, it's a placemaking, I learned that term, placemaking. It's a place where people gather to have fun and associate and enjoy their community. And that goes right to my lifelong thoughts about Marshalltown. And let me just say, I hope the council votes to approve the naming agreement. It means a lot to me to leave a legacy. And I just want to say there's a lot of great things going on in this community through the Chamber of Commerce, through John Hall, through Amber Danielson, through the CBD, the Community School District, MCC, Iowa Valley. Everything is happening in this town. We have a lot of strong leaders motivated towards common goals, and this concept of public-private partnership
is huge, because we don't get things done without you people that are representing the taxpayers to jump on board and vote yes on progressive, good plans. And just like the Marshall County supervisors did last week, that vote was so huge, and that will make the Trails River Edge project, I think we're going to get that grant. Because I'm learning that when you apply for grants, they want to see not only the private side donate, they want to see the public entities support to a big level. And working together and planning for all those common goals just makes this town that much better. So I'm very appreciative of what I've seen in all my life of living in Marshtown. I've never seen so much going on. And Joel Greer, you wrote a wonderful opinion piece in the TR just last Friday, June 7th, and it was very detailed, and I urge everybody to look at that and take note of what are all the good things that are going on in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Tom, could you come back up and give your address, please?
Which one? My name is Tom Apgar from 1717 Renee, that's with 2 E's, Drive. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Oh, you are a stickler, Gary. Any other public comments?
Yes, I have a written comment that was submitted.
Okay.
Alicia, can I take it with my
Sure.
comments?
Okay.
Lee Botter, 401 Orchard Drive. Tonight I want to tell you, you guys know I'm the face for Splash for Life, but this isn't about Splash. It's about a water plaza. I respect the fact that the city of Marshalltown wants to honor donors with naming rights. I fully 100% support naming the proposed water plaza after the Apgar family. There is a saying, people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. I've had the pleasure of knowing Tom for decades. Back when he was known as the most eligible bachelor in Marshalltown, a few days ago. So I guess it is a lifetime for me. When I think of the Apgar family, just a few word associations come to mind. Photography. 3 generations of taking pictures to capture the moments of our lives. His dad took my senior pictures. Volleyball. Pat and Tom working together to support this sport to Marshalltown and all their years of supporting with the Marshalltown Community School District. A historian, Dorothy, and all that research that she went into capturing Marshalltown's rich history through those books that she authored. And water sports, John being a lifeguard, manager at Riverview Pool, and as she shared, we had lots of good memories. That's where I did my first belly flop. There are many, many more contributions, but I can't begin to name them all. I spoke to Tom last week, and I know it is his desire to leave a family legacy, honoring Pat, Dorothy, and John. What does legacy mean to you? Most of us would agree that a legacy is defined as giving back something that will be valued and treasured by those that survive you after your death. A legacy can be monetary, real estate, or other assets. It can also be one's faith, ethics, core values, character, reputation, and how you impact others to guide their futures. We all in this room and out in TV land have a legacy we wish to leave our loved ones and our community. So Tom, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for your time, your support, your financial contribution. As the dream that we've had for the past 12 years in providing a place for safe outdoor activities is starting to take a step closer to becoming a reality in the form of the Apgar Family Water Plaza. Please vote yes.
Hello, Jim Shaw, 522 North 2nd Street. So I think this is, you're going to say it's apples and oranges, but it's not. To me, it's red apples and green apples. Okay, my wife died in 2009. I become heavily involved in the dog park, and fundraising was going slow. Okay, they started selling bricks for $100 a piece. I bought 6 of those. Okay, it was still going slow. So at one of the meetings, the committee says, you know, what we ought to consider is getting a big donor, and we'll name the park after him. So I'm sitting there with the other members. I said, well, how much would that have to be? Oh, God, $4,000 at least. I was done. Name it after my wife. Oh, everybody, oh, God, this is great, this is great. Next meeting, Terry Gray, his predecessor, comes to the meeting. She says, you can't do that. Why not? We have a policy. The last thing that we named after somebody was Judge Park. And we're not doing that again. I was, really? There's a sign down on the slow pitch diamonds. Says dedicated to the survivors of, with Gary Hosky. Jerry's a friend of mine. Well, yeah, but the park's not named that. There's just a billboard saying that it's dedicated to him. She says, so you can't name the park after your wife. I said, are you sure you want to make that statement? Yep. I was, it's locked in concrete. Yep. I said, I could live to be a ripe old age. Doesn't matter. So, everybody goes, well, what are you going to do now? I said, well, I'll put up a dedicated sign, like they got down there. So there's a sign out there. Well, good. Wait, is that still $4,000? I said, oh, no. We're talking like half that. So I give them $2,000, had the sign made, and it now says that it is dedicated to my wife. But I guess my feeling on this is I was told by a city employee that had a position, and I know she hasn't been here for years, it'd never happen again. And I told her I live a long time. So I don't really, I know, I didn't give millions of dollars. But you compare what I gave to the dog park, my name is second, me and my wife's names are second on the donor list. I got a lot of money in that. So I know you're going to do it, and I don't have any really thing to say other than that, other than it's just not sitting real good with me. Thank you.
Doris Kinnick, 2020 Catalina Place. I'm not from Iowa originally, so I just look at what happened in 2012 with the children who drowned in the river and the reason why this whole thing started. And I really hope that their legacy will also live on in this project one way or another. So I hope that that is also taken into consideration by Amber or by John. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nora. Still an open mic, you bet.
Amber Danielson, Arts and Culture Alliance. In response to that, we just want you all to know that we have already started conversations with several of the families, and we recognize those tragedies, and this being safe and accessible is at the core of the original goals, and so we do intend to have some kind of recognition in honor of those lives.
I know you were meeting with the families last week, in fact, right?
Yeah, actually, thanks to Mike Lottie-Hoff, he was able to connect us with the monk out at the monastery, and John and I and Mike were able to attend one of their services, and were able to connect with 3 of the children's families. So that it is a work in progress.
Thank you.
Just to expound on that, what we did is we had a chance to present the whole project to the Burmese community and explain how it all started, and that we wanted to make sure and do something that we wanted the place to be fun and relaxing, but we also wanted to make sure that they understood that we haven't forgotten those kids. We haven't forgotten the kids. I think Amber's going to be working with one of the Burmese sculptures. Am I right on that? Yeah, possibly, to come up with something that'll be representative for the children that we lost so many years ago.
Thanks, Mike. Anyone else like to speak on this one?
Sorry.
Lonnie Hoagland, 1408 East Main. Goodness gracious, you can feel the emotions coming from Mr. Shaw. When I noticed Crosby Pool got taken down, I thought that's odd. There's no more Crosby Pool. But then I can't think of the name of the gentleman that's rebuilt the beautiful condos there. I thought, what a gesture. He didn't have to, but he named it Crosby Park. What a beautiful name. And I'm just sitting here listening, bored as heck, about half fall asleep. And I'm serious.
You have to start bringing this stuff.
Oh, my goodness, something. I went to Apgar Pool a long time ago, and I just think it's a wonderful idea to name it Apgar Water Park. And think of the kids that lost their lives in that family. I can't believe it's been that long ago. It's crazy. I'm sorry for your loss, sir. You're in the middle of selling a park. This is kind of relevant but irrelevant. You're in the middle of selling a park, and government makes things so messed up. You're trying to sell a park, and you can't sell a park with the equipment on it. I didn't want to buy a park till 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'd like to buy a park with the equipment on it to memorialize my late father, my late son, and I'm going to die one of these days. I'm 57. I'm getting ready to it because I'm starting to think about dying. And I guess I'm going to do my best to buy a park. And if I own it, I'll name it what I want. So.
Thanks. It was Joe and Janelle Carter. They were the people that did the Crosby Park thing.
Couldn't I think of it?
Yep. Anyone else like to speak on this one? I think it's time for the roll call.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Kell?
Yes.
Lottie
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
That carried. Now that it's done, I need to add, I was on the Y board at the time that the pools were costing too much and we had to close them. And part of the difficulty there was to lose the names of them. We ended up with a pretty nice aquatic center. Fun to watch things come around. And at the meeting last week at the Chamber annual banquet with 230 people, it was a standing ovation for Tom. Thank you, Tom. Next item.
Resolution 2024-134 for naming rights of the bridge in the Lynn Creek District.
Move to approve, Your Honor.
Is there a second? Discussion on this one.
Jeff Hubbard, Parks Rec Director. So this is kind of the same thing. Emerson has given a significant contribution towards the overall Lynn Creek District projects, but would like to have the naming right for the bridge, and we feel that their contribution matches that warrant level for it. And I know Emerson is a huge community in town. I graduated here in '89, and that's all people could talk about was that's where everybody worked that I knew. For my parents, everybody worked at Fisher. They've done so much over Mike, how many years? For its employees, for this town, and we think it would be very deserving of them to one of the reasons why they said they wanted to donate was this whole project will attract people for their company to want to come work, live, and play here, and this would be a great honor for them to have this bridge named after them. Is there anything you want to say?
John Hall, Marshalltown Area Chamber of Commerce. First, thank you all for your support on the Apgar Family Water Plaza. Emerson has been incredibly excited around these projects, not only for the opportunity to be at the forefront on these quality of life initiatives that are so important for the community, but also what that impact will be for their ability to recruit and retain high quality talent and folks to this community. One of the interesting things that Snyder and Associates was able to bring to the table on one of our early conversations was when Fisher started here, they started both with valves, the governors, and they were selling bikes. So there's a great callback to kind of the foundations of their company here, and so we are incredibly grateful for their support on projects. I'd be remiss if I didn't also acknowledge the incredible contributions that have come from some of our other businesses and individuals, and I'm specifically going to name Marshalltown Company and the Carters for their support on these projects, as well as the Martha Ellen Ty Foundation. So we've been very fortunate to receive a number of other supporters on these as well, but wanted to acknowledge those and hope that you will continue the legacy of Emerson here in town with the naming of this bridge. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I have to add that when we were first looking at trying to start the paving of the trail, Paul Gregory approached me. He was the HR director, international HR director for Emerson, and he was interested in having the crew from Emerson go out and be part of decorating the bridge going over Summit Street. That bridge got put in too fast. They didn't have the chance to do that, so it's just fun to see them have another bridge to adopt and be proud of. City Council would like to speak on this one?
If I may?
You may.
On behalf of our late Al Hoop, I would like to see the bridge named Fisher Emerson.
Other comments? Any public comment on this one?
Jim Shaw, 522 North 2nd Street, same one as before. Okay? There's some hard feelings here. I can't match their donation, but if I win this tonight, it's a different story. So just, I understand there's nothing I could do about it, but a city employee gave me her word. And if you know me, you know the number one thing at the top of my list is lying. If you lie to me, sorry, you're out.
Any other public comment?
I have a written comment, Your Honor. Lee Botter, 401 Orchard Drive. I've been attending council meetings for several years where discussion on the Lynn Creek Development Project has occurred multiple times, including the future of the bridge. I respect the fact that a city, Marshalltown, wants to honor donors with naming rights and the theme of water flow. However, the resolution presented incorrectly states the following. Whereas the City Council has expressed a desire to recognize an individual that has served the city of Marshalltown and the community as outstanding public servants. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Marshalltown, Iowa, that the policy for the naming, dedication, and sponsorship of city facilities is hereby allowed for the naming of the bridge in the Lynn Creek District as the Emerson Bridge with signs to be installed in their honor. We are all aware that our late Councilor Hoop had a strong opinion of the changing of names in town where the Fisher family name was either eliminated or discounted. We also all know that Emerson is not an individual person. They are an employer whose history is Fisher. I would propose that the naming be Fisher Emerson Bridge. This brings in the historical connection and the ties to the family that can and should be honored. In my opinion, this is a way to also honor Councilor Hoop and his wishes of continuing the Fisher connection. If it is a decision not to change the name, the resolution should be corrected to reflect the fact that this is a business, not an individual. The other area of concern is an amount of a business donation. Will the city of Marshalltown or Emerson release the amount of said donation or present plaques acknowledging other donations such as seen in the Coliseum? The rationale for this request is to ensure our historical documents are accurate and to promote transparency with the taxpayers of Marshalltown.
Thank you. Any other written comments?
No, Your Honor.
Any other public comments? Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Kell?
Yes.
Bodyhoff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
That one carried. Next one.
Resolution 2024-129, Improvement Amendment 1 to the Professional Services Agreement with Bolton and Mink for the Main Street Reconstruction Project, being Project STR 22-002 in the city of Marshalltown, Iowa.
Move for approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Good evening, Heather Thomas, Public Works. I'm going to go ahead and pull up some slides to go over with you. This discussion is in follow-up to a couple of meetings we had this past year. Last March, we had a joint city-county meeting where we discussed the possibility to enhance this project through a collaboration with the county, especially in the area north of the courthouse. Following up on that, we had a meeting in June with the city council to talk about some of the parts of this project that we wanted to look into, and one of the outcomes of that was to increase street lighting, replacing the street lighting that we have out there and increase opportunities for lighting. That is a part of the amendment in front of you tonight. We're requesting an amendment for Bolton Mink Services to the design contract on this project to accommodate the lighting from that meeting, and then also the collaboration between the city and the county on this project. So I'll go through a very, very brief update on the project. We've got 5 blocks of construction planned with phase 2 of the downtown project. Along Center Street, we're looking from Church to State Street. We do have some exciting announcement, news to make as far as parking goes with the transition of the bike lanes on Center Street over to 2nd Street. We're able to accommodate angle parking on the west side as well now. So it's even updated since the exhibit that's up in front of you now. So at the block from Church to Main, we will have angle parking on both sides of the road there. And then north of Main, we'll have angle on the west, and we'll keep with parallel on the east. Along Main Street, we're going to stick with the same configuration we've talked about this whole project, parallel on the north side, angle on the south. But looking into the area where the courthouse is, we have come up with some additional public engagement feedback to just develop the event block space that's in front of you now. We've worked really closely with the county on this. If you remember back to the downtown implementation plan and the master plan, we talked about having a space that would be for events to gather downtown. Previously, that had been talked about kind of over in the old hospital complex potentially in the future. But we decided that this is where we have an opportunity now. The county is on board as well to kind of make that event hub downtown right in this location at the north of the courthouse. Many years ago, I think there was a lot of events that happened there and a lot of gathering that happened there, and we want to kind of reinvigorate that. So we're looking at making this kind of a plaza space. There will not be a full curb on the south side of the street, so it'll allow a little bit more walkability and the ability to go ahead and close that block to have events in that area more frequently. So this is just a concept. Again, we have worked closely with the county on this as well as a group of stakeholders to develop this. But we're going to be really intentional about kind of some of the design elements and the creative placemaking of the area here. We're really going to try to pull some of the architectural details from the courthouse and bring that out into the space to make that part of the Main Street area and the plaza space. Historically, there was a Marshalltown Arch downtown. So we're potentially looking at opportunities to pay tribute to that as well. We've talked a lot about lighting as well, maybe looking at some overhead lighting in some of the event plaza space on the lower right-hand corner. As we do that, the other thing that we're trying to be really conscious about is celebrating the past and the historical nature of downtown, and also bringing in aspects of our cultural diversity that we find ourselves enjoying today and will in the future. So this is just a rendering of a couple of ideas of how to potentially bridge and meld those two worlds of history and architecture and some of the color and vibrancy. We did talk in detail in our stakeholder meetings with the public that we want to provide the space that we can do events, but this project is not going to be the project that builds in every opportunity, but we want it to be accommodating. This is a once-in-a-generation project. So in front of you, you'll see the seating area that I think we talked about last June. We're providing the space to put those in, and those will be opportunities in the future to be added to the project by the business owners to bring in people downtown and events downtown. Again, just concepts up in front of you right now, but those are the things that our team's working on. So in front of you tonight is an engineering amendment. We have a $654,000 contract right now. The proposed amendment is $98,000 of that. $30,000 of that is direction from the council last time to increase and replace street lighting that we have out there now. 68,000 of that is for the enhanced public input and outreach that we've done, and expanding into the event space with the county. We did talk to Marshall County and did get formal direction from the county last week that they're willing to split that 68,000. So 34,000 of that would actually be reimbursed by the county. So with that, I'll open it up for questions on this engineering amendment. Thank you.
Council questions or comments?
Your Honor, if I may?
You may.
Heather, by going to parallel on both sides of the block between Church and Main, is that what you said?
We're going to go to angle.
Yeah, angle. What'd I say, parallel? Yeah, angle. Are you taking into consideration the delivery trucks that frequent that intersection of Main and Center? If you're going angle there, you're not going to have those trucks be able to park in the middle, right?
Correct. No parking in the middle is the intent, but we do have a location just north of the intersection on the east-hand side where it's parallel in that section that we're going to have kind of crisscrossed off for no parking for a loading zone to bring it to the heart of downtown.
Loading zone big enough for a semi.
Correct.
And then another question, and correct me if I'm wrong here, when we first started this whole conversation, I thought from the very beginning, we talked about that all the light poles were going to come out of downtown, and we talked about refurbishing them or repurposing them in a park or something, and we talked about street lighting and pedestrian lighting, sidewalk lighting. So why is there, I don't understand this change of $98,000, or the 30,000, excuse me, the $30,000 for more engineering for lighting. I thought that was from the very beginning that we discussed that in the very first meetings.
No, that discussion was last June when we talked about whether to reuse what we have for street lighting or put new in. The original contract was to reuse the existing street lighting.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Anyone else up here? Public comment?
Lonnie Hoagland, 1408 East Main Street. I noticed in the last few days on Main Street, there's the antique lights with 2 light fixtures on each pole. They only have 1 light bulb lit on each pole, maybe to save money, I'm not sure why, but the light that's lit is not very bright. You look at the ground and it's basically dark. I've been looking at security lights for my facility. Carl Auto Group has brilliantly bright LED lights because they're brand new and the top of the line, but you look at the Lennox brand new office facility, it is daylight. I don't know what kind of light you want, but you need to look at what you want and go shopping.
Anyone else?
Amber Danielson, Arts and Culture Alliance. I just wanted to first off do a kudos to Heather and her team, the work that they've been putting in to really listen to the community. I mean, I think this entire process is really in alignment with the Arts and Culture Master Plan about authentically reflecting the community, and that engagement process with the stakeholders is ultimately how we are here today. And so I just wanted to give a kudos to her team and Bolton and Mink for the stakeholder engagement, and we're really excited for this project.
Any other public comment? Let's call the roll.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Kell?
Yes.
Lottie Hoff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Very good, that carried as well. And the county, too. We've shouted out to them a couple times tonight, but the relationship that's been developed with the county and city in the last year or so is reflective of good things to come. All right, next item.
Public hearing and resolution 2024-132, approving the real estate purchase agreement and providing for the conveyance and transfer of title for 411 West Lynn Street from the city of Marshalltown, Iowa to Lynn Street Properties LLC.
I'll declare the public hearings open at 7 to 9 p.m., and I assume you didn't get any written comments on this one?
No, Your Honor.
Time for public comments. Seeing nobody rushing to the microphone, it's time for staff review.
This agreement is for the sale of the city lot at 411 Westland Street for $1,000. It has the requirement to move the house from 110 Westland Street to this property and renovate the house for occupancy within 24 months.
Very good. Any council comments on this one? If not, I'll declare the public hearing closed at 7:10 PM. And are we calling for a resolution, a motion to approve it?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call.
Kell?
Yes.
Lottie Hoff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Carried. Very good. And our last one is, what?
Public hearing and resolution 2024-133, adopting an amended and restated plan for the Marshalltown Urban Revitalization Area Number 3.
Public hearing is open at 7:10 PM. You didn't get any written comments, and it's time for public comments. Not seeing anybody rising. Let's go with staff review on this one.
I may, Your Honor.
This is the public hearing.
It's lit? I'll just
Yeah, a
talk-
little closer.
I'll just talk with my big voice, right? Okay, so this is the public hearing at which time anyone could have their input as to the changes, and what this really is a summarization or a restatement of the plans that are currently in place, and there's no changes to any of the terms. However, we are now in compliance with House File 718 after the adoption of the ordinances.
And now time for council comments. If there aren't any of those, we will declare the public hearing is closed at 7:11 and call for a motion.
Motion to approve, Your Honor.
Second.
Roll call.
Lottie Hoff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Very good.
Thompson?
Oops, I'm sorry.
Left the room.
Absent.
And Kell?
Yes.
Very good. That carried as well. On to item I, ordinances. We have the first one as what?
Ordinance 15085 to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Marshalltown, Iowa, Chapter 156, zoning, second reading.
Is there a motion to approve to start it?
Move for approval.
Is there a
Second.
Okay, discussion on this one. Anybody want to take the lead? We all get these in the packets, but
Hector Hernandez, city planner here at the city of Marshalltown. So this is the second hearing for the code of ordinance for the chapter 156 zoning ordinance for the solar array on ground. So we're just second hearing. I'd say we're proposing to remove solar on ground on residential, as well as making it just only on agriculture, AG, as well as general industrial with special use permit. That would have to go through our Planning and Zoning Commission, as well as or the Board of Adjustment for approval. So this is just a second hearing for that. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those.
council questions or comments first? Any public comments or questions? Roll call.
Mitchell? Yes. Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Kell?
Yes.
Lottie Hoff?
Yes.
Very good, that carried. Next ordinance.
Ordinance 15086 to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Marshalltown, Iowa, Chapter 70, General Provisions to revise regulations for automated traffic enforcement, first reading.
Call for motion first.
Move to approve.
Thank
Second.
you. Very good, discussion.
Mike Tupper, Marshalltown Police Department. So this year, the Iowa legislature
passed a regulatory bill regarding automatic traffic enforcement speed cameras. And the governor signed that bill on May 17th. So you have a memo in your packet. We have to make a couple changes to our city ordinance in order to continue using the speed cameras. The fine, there's two main things that are significant. The fine goes from $100 to $75 for the general basic offense. And then we have to make some changes with signage. So I think our signage for our fixed sites are pretty close to where they need to be, but we're still looking at that to make sure that we meet the requirements of the new law. But we'll have to add signage for the mobile if we continue to use the mobile. So in the packet is the revised ordinance that was put together by our city attorney to bring us in compliance with the new state law. I think it's important that we continue to utilize this equipment. The use of technology in law enforcement is going to be critically important to keep our community safe. And you've heard me talk about it before. Traffic complaints are the number one issue that we're hearing about, and it's a big problem for us. It's a big problem not just in Marshalltown, but in communities across Iowa and across this country. And we don't have enough police officers to be everywhere you need me to be to enforce speeding. So these cameras have proven to be an effective tool for our police department to keep our community safe. And so we would recommend passing this first reading. And if you pass the first reading, I'm going to ask you to waive the second and third reading. Be happy to answer questions.
Questions or comments? Public comments? Roll call.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
No.
Kell?
Yes.
Bodyhoff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Carried. Is there a motion to waive the second and third reading?
I make a motion that we waive the second and third reading, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Point of order, Your Honor.
Okay.
To waive a second and third, doesn't it have to be a unanimous vote?
I thought it was 2/3.
It's super, but in this situation, because we have a vacancy, it would have to be.
Yeah, you're right. 6.
Your Honor, if I may.
You may.
Normally, I wouldn't waive a second and third reading, but we are merely complying by Iowa law. We really have no other choice. And I know that you guys are under somewhat of a time, time.
Yeah, so this slows us down a little bit. It doesn't stop us. Okay, so we're still going to apply for our permits. We have to apply for permitting with Iowa DOT by July 1st. And so passing the first reading tonight will give me direction to do that. And we'll be back in 2 weeks for the second reading and 2 weeks after that for the third reading. So assuming that you pass the second and third readings, it just slows us down in terms of being able to turn the cameras back on because they're off right now.
Your Honor,
You bet.
there's nothing that keeps you from calling a special meeting either to have these readings either, does it? Is there?
I believe that's considered possible to have a special meeting for that.
Your Honor, I have a question, if I may.
Go for it.
Why are the cameras off right now? I thought we had till July 1st.
Working with the vendor and the other law enforcement agencies that work with the same vendor, the decision was made that we were going to stop issuing citations. That's based on some legal advice that we've received, because some sections of the it's my belief, and I'm not a lawyer, but it's my belief the law doesn't actually take effect till July 1st, but some sections took effect immediately upon signing. And so there's just some confusion over whether it was immediate upon signing for everything or just for some specific sections. So in the interest of caution and doing the right thing, we decided to stop issuing citations until we've hit July 1st, and we have our ordinance in order and our permits in order.
Other questions or comments up here? Let's call the roll on waiving the second and third readings.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Kell,
Yes.
Lottiehoff.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. On to the next one.
Ordinance 15087 to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Marshalltown, Iowa, Chapter 118, Peddlers, Solicitors, Transient Merchants, first reading.
Move to approve.
Thanks. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion on this one.
Yes, Your Honor, this amendment will simplify the application process for transient merchants, and it would change the requirement to operate in the Marshalltown Central Business District by obtaining a public use permit instead of a additional 24-hour license.
Thank you. Questions or comments by council? Public comment. Roll call.
Lottiehoff,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Kell,
Yes.
Okay, that carried as well. And on to our last ordinance.
Ordinance 15088, amending ordinance designating an area of Marshalltown, Iowa as the Marshalltown Urban Revitalization Area Number 3, first reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on this one.
This ordinance is what will be the enforcement and the inaction of the plan as to be executed and the coordination with the county for those abatements to come forth. We will have to redesign the abatement application, and in some situations, there will be required to have a minimum assessment before the council would be able to approve the application. So there's a little bit of timing change going into this. But because that is also tied to a July 1 state implementation, we're trying to move so that we can have the publication of the ordinance in a timely manner to get that other work done.
Thank you. Any questions or comments by council? Public on this one? Roll call.
Thompson,
Yes.
Kell,
Yes.
Lottiehoff,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Very good. Is there a motion to waive the second and third readings on this one?
Move to approve, Your Honor.
Second.
Roll call.
Kell,
Yes.
Lottiehoff,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Carried. On to discussion items, and we just have one of those. That's the 4th of July event bus service.
Heather Thomas, Public Works, and who's ready for a celebration? Okay, well, let's pump the meeting up a little bit. And I received a request from Councilor Lottiehoff and for providing Marshalltown Municipal Transit to provide some opportunity on the July 4th celebration, the red, white, and blue celebration. I'm going to turn it over to Mike to talk about some of the details, and if Louisa would like to share, that'd be great. But the information that I'm looking for today is whether or not council would like us to run Marshalltown Municipal Transit for that event, and if you guys would like to charge a fare or not, and what route you guys would like us to run. I have talked with our staff, and we do have enough drivers to be able to run 2 buses during the time requested. So I'll turn that over to Mike.
Thank you, Heather. I'm going to call Louisa up for when I stumble, and she actually knows what she's doing here. What the basic thought is we want people to come to the event that want to participate in the event, the dances, all that kind of thing. And we want to make sure that everyone has access to come to the celebration. We're looking at a loop with the 2 buses, stopping at the Marshalltown Mall and also the courthouse. So you can get on the bus, come to the celebration. Both buses will be running the same loop, so you don't have a problem getting on the wrong bus. and be able to bring people right and drop them off right there at the event. Louisa, you have anything to add?
Just the fair, I guess. Luisa Ortega, 2023 Catalina, and the Fireworks Committee. So, yeah, basically Mike said it all. We had some comments about people having concerns about parking, so we started to look into the option of providing extra parking opportunities, and I have contacted the mall, and they have agreed to let us use the property, so the Marshalltown Mall would be one destination, and like he said, the courthouse would be the other. And then the only question is the fare, whether we charge or make it free. I think we could probably pursue talking to some businesses and having them sponsor. I mean, the fare is only like $1, so it really isn't an astronomical fee, and I think we could probably get some businesses to help sponsor.
Anyone have any questions?
I have no questions, but I'd comment that we should pick up the fare, make it free, so people can just jump on.
Sure, make it faster, easier. And I know we saw, at least I saw what the figures were, and they were a little drop in the bucket compared to our budget. No. Anybody else want to weigh in on that one? Your committee and the counselors have been helping you on the fundraising, have done such a nice job. This is going to be one big event, and I think you got a permanent position with that fireworks committee. It's crazy.
Is it time?
Yeah, sure. Come on up.
Doris Kinnick, 2020 Catalina Place. Don't worry about me. I forgot about where I live. Anyway, I love the idea of having buses, because that was one of the questions I was having, is like, do I have to try to find a place to park? And knowing that I don't have to worry about finding a place to park or anything like that, and having the bus, I think, is a great idea. And maybe even people could, just drop $1, in a tip jar or something like that to help. That's another thing as well. So I'd be more than willing to put $1 in a tip jar for a bus ride to this event. Thank you very much.
We're probably going to have another 4th of July next year.
Yeah,
so
probably.
Go toward that.
I do have to commend Heather and our transportation people, because I just mentioned it. We're kind of thinking about this, and they jumped on it. It's like, well, we'll get back to you right away, and now I'm getting peppered from Heather questions about it, and it really worked out good. We're really looking forward to this. I think we're going to have a good time.
Anybody else up here, out there? Lonnie?
Lonnie Hoagland, 1408 Main. I think it'd be a tremendous idea to do it for free. Your tip jar is a great idea, and I know an auto plaza that might donate to get things rolling.
Very good. Thank you. I think staff has its direction on that one. Okay, thanks very much. Yes.
Melissa Fonseca, 1201 South 3rd Ave. I just was brainstorming right now when we were talking. I'm like asking Luisa, wait, can we bike to the event? I mean, we can get on the bike path and ride to the event. And I've done that many times before, going from my house and getting on the bike path. I was like, I'm blanking on the street now, but getting on there and riding to the Y. So it'll just be a little ways away. So I think that's great that we can ride our bike and not have to worry about it parking. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. It reminds me that the one thing I did mention in that op-ed piece this last weekend is that Iowa State University picked us as, I think it's 6 or 7 mayors that they wanted to talk to about the trail systems, and we had to admit we've already got a pretty good deal going to the north here, the 34-mile trail up to Steamboat. But they will be working on connecting other things, like from the north edge around this way and out to Sand Road and one of our other parks here too. So next year about this time, we'll be having a report and looking at what might be based on some pretty good expertise over there. Okay, we're at the time where we need to go into closed session. And so while people are packing up and leaving, let me read that to go into closed session, it would be pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.5, parens 1J, of the Iowa Code, and it does involve the purchase or sale of particular real estate. Only when premature disclosure could be reasonably expected to increase the price of the government body having to pay it for the property or reduce the price the government body would get for the property. And the city of Marshtown has an attorney-client relationship with Lynch Dallas, who has approved that this would be a logical time to go into closed session under the code section already cited. There may be counsel